Today we're gonna model a Cybertruck, which it looks a bit like this. It's quite a complicated form, and so I looked at some images of the Cybertruck itself, and you can see it's got like a flat. I did a bit of a sketch. You can see it's got like an angled bit there, flat sides. It's got a curved windscreen, a curved front, and then a flat back. And so that's going to require a little bit of kind of fancy modeling in Tinkercad. So we're first off going to start off with a block, and we're going to make that like 100 by 45, something like that, and then make it quite big, and then that's going to be the rough shape of our truck. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make the angled sides, and so I'm going to take something like this, and we're going to make it the same length as our truck, make it quite tall and wide, and we're going to angle this. So it's quite hard to look at the front, so I'm going to look at an orthographic view, and I'm going to spin this around, and let's have a look. That looks pretty much okay. I think that will probably do. So 22.5 looks about right, and that's going to chop off the top, and I think it might be too much, so I'm going to undo that, and I think it's going to be more like 20, maybe even 18. So something like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that's going to be the front, and I'm going to make it so that it chops off about halfway. I want to have a copy of this, so I'm going to look at the front. I'm going to press Alt and create a copy, and then I'm going to flip that using this tool up here, and I'm going to flip it in this direction. So now I've got two copies, and I'm going to move that into position, and you could do this and try and roughly get it aligned, but I am going to get it very close, and then I am going to take these two and turn them into a group. So now that's two shapes, and then I can take all of this and line it up, because building stuff in 3D requires precision, and so we're going to make sure that we line all of these things up. Then I'm going to take these and take them away. So now we have this, which is the rough shape of our Cybertruck. The next thing I want to do is the curved windscreen and the curved front, because those are really hard, and if you do it in a different order, it does make it more difficult. So I'm going to create a big block like this, and I'm going to make this pretty big because it's going to need to be, because you'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to take this shape, and this is, I put that in the wrong place and put it on the ground, and I'm going to make this pretty wide, and this is going to be my windscreen, which seems odd, but I'm going to use this as a kind of a cookie cutter shape. I'm going to give it loads of sides so you don't see the edges too much. And then using the top, I'm going to turn this into a whole shape and then move that over that to create a little, almost like a kind of a jelly mold. So when I take this away and I group it, you can see I end up with this. But as before, I'm going to take everything, I'm going to line it up, because it's really good to line things up when you're building in 3D, because it will just solve many problems later. So now I've got this kind of shape, and then I'm going to turn that into a whole shape. So now I can use this to create the windscreen. I'm going to make my windscreen there, so now I'm going to line stuff up. So I'm going to drag this along, I'm going to turn it round. I reckon that kind of 67.5 seems pretty good to me. I'm going to move this along, and this really dark bit is what it's chopping out, basically. So this is too much, and what I want to do is line up this edge here so that this perfectly intersects. If you need to get it more accurate, you can move it along like this, and I want to basically get this sharp line to match with that, so that when I take this away, you should see what we end up with. But I'm just going to undo that. And I want to take a copy of this because I'm going to need this for the front bumper. So I'm going to just duplicate it. So now let's go again. Again, looking at the side, I'm going to take this and rotate it round. 67.5. I'm going to move it into position. I might need to do a bit of fiddling to get it to work, but that looks pretty good. Move it along, and that looks good. See, the dark bit there is matching with this, the edge of the truck. Now I'm going to take it away, and there we go. We've got the windscreen, okay? So, because we lined it up, everything is even. So if we look at the top, you can see that the sides are even, the front is even, and that's going to work for us. I'm going to do the bumper now. So again, we're going to line it up using the align tool just to match things up, because if you don't match things up, you're going to get a weird shaped car, because this, look at this, this is not lined up in any way at all. So I'm going to line it up, and now it's lined up things exactly. I'm going to take this and move this along. I'm in the top view, and I'm just going to line this up just so it takes the front off. And I'm just going to, I don't think I moved it, but I'm going to double check. And now I can take this, combine it, and what I've got is the front and the side of this Cybertruck. If it's in the air, press D and you'll put it to the ground. Now the next bit is pretty easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off the back and the top, the rest of the roof. So I'm going to create a big block, make it like this, make it quite chunky and quite tall. And then I'm going to look at the right, and I'm just going to rotate this round, and I'm just going to guess. I'm not going to try too hard to get it exact, because I think it's going to be really, really difficult to do that. So I'm going to do that. That's too much. Minus 12. That looks okay. So this feels like it's probably okay. Maybe to do it a little bit more. That's too much. So minus 4, and we'll try that. And again, I'm lining up this seam at the end. This seam is the important bit here. So that's the bit that I really want to make sure that this edge matches up. And now when I take this and I combine it, and I'm just going to line them up before I do any of that. I'm going to take this and combine. So now we're starting to get the shape of the Cybertruck, and it's starting to look kind of right. The next thing I need to do is take off the back bit. That's really easy. It's going to take me seconds. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to make it kind of quite tall. Look at the right. I'm going to spin it around, so that's probably okay. And line this up. Again, making sure that this edge is right. That looks good. And combine it. Let's give it a second. I think I've combined a lot of shapes, so it's taking a while to do this. I'm going to try again. There we go. Right. So that's the main body of the car done. And now I'm just going to do the wheel arches. The wheel arches are really easy. You need to use a shape like this. Spin it around like so. And you can see on this that it needs to be that kind of shape. So like a half a hexagon. So that's going to be pretty easy. So I'm going to take this and turn it into something like that. In fact, I'll make it a bit bigger to give myself a bit more room. And look at the right, move it along, move it downwards. So it needs to be taking out quite a large area. So I need to make this whole shape like much, much bigger. So I'm going to increase that by, make that about 15 by more, so that I get more shape for it. That looks about right. I'm going to scale it up a bit more. That looks good. And that's going to be my main wheel arch. I'm just going to make sure I'm not doing it too much into the actual truck. And that's good. I'm going to look at the side. I'm going to take this, press Option just to copy it. And then I'm going to take both shapes. I'm going to group them. And then what I can do is I can take them again and copy them. Grab the whole thing, combine it, and then you end up with the Cybertruck shape. And you can obviously change this if you are not happy with the overall shape. So these you might think are a little bit too big, and if you think so, you can just drop them down a little bit. Grab this, combine it again, and then you have that. And that's how you produce a Cybertruck.